I am Nadine Winkler and the mum of Anis and Lily. Lily was the inspiration behind it, and when she was 7 months old, I found that I was a working mother. I was working as an architect, and I would try to do 100 things at the same time, as most parents do. One day I was going into the office, and my mum was going to look after her. I got a last-minute phone call, a terrible rush, and instead of taking the food that I had prepared for her to take along to my mum's, I ended up getting a shop-bought food pouch. And on the way to work, I was like, that's really silly. I made the food anyway. I just couldn't be bothered to get a Tupperware, a spoon, a bib, and all the peripheral stuff that goes with it so that she could eat the food that I made. Yeah. And so on my way back from work, I went into the supermarket fully expecting to be able to buy a Ziploc bag with a nozzle on it so that I could put my own food in it, and I couldn't find anything. I called my cousin Zaid, who has a packaging company and who I work with. He was in his office in China, and I Skyped him and I said, Zaid, I've had an idea. I can't find any of these things. I think they'd be really, really useful for a lot of parents. And I mocked one up. I came back home, I took one of those pouches and I cut it up and I put a zip on it. And I showed it him to him and I said, do you think you can find me someone to make these? He said, oh yeah, easy. Well, it wasn't easy. It took us a year to figure out this zip. Because we wanted it to be fully leak-proof, I need it to be see-through, I need it to be easy to open, I need it to be able to stand up, so I could stand them up in the fridge, I needed them to be freezable, I needed them to be reusable, and I needed them to be the right size for her hands. And that's why they look the way they do. So they're tested for use in the dishwasher for 50 times. But as you know, the dishwasher, the salts in dishwasher are quite harsh, so it doesn't make them last as long as if you were to wash them by hand. So we have some of our initial prototype bags, which were from 3 years ago, that we still use. The most enjoyable thing for me is meeting people from all over the world whenever we go to present the product, the reaction that we get. Meeting people like Rochelle, who, that was a very sort of spontaneous.
Very spontaneous. And it was a complete fluke. I was in a store where DoddleBags were being demonstrated, and I was hell-bent on looking at something else, and then I thought, no, I'm going to go back and have a look at this product. I was traveling the following day, and I asked, could they hold makeup and day cream and night cream? And oh yes, absolutely. So I thought, you know what, for the price, $10.99, I'll give it a whirl. And it revolutionized my life, my traveling life, because they're easy to clean. They hold your night cream, your day cream. You can put them in your hand luggage because they're calibrated up the side to 100 mil, which is perfect. There's no weight. They're flat. And you go to your hotel or house or apartment or whatever, and you stand them up in the bathroom, and away you go. I then came back and I decided that I should email the company and say what a fantastic product, which I did. And I thought that they should be rolled out in America because the Americans travel all the time. And next thing I know, I got an email from Nadine, come in for a chat. And I thought she just wanted to do some market research. And I came out of the office an hour later with a job, a business card, and here I am 12 months on and enjoying every second of it. I believe in the product 1,000%.
Amazing.
People say, what else can you put in it? And I always tell them that you are only limited by your imagination. You can put anything in a doddle bag and take it anywhere at all. Anywhere.
Anywhere. Festivals.
Vegetables, kids' lunch boxes, picnics. You can make an ice pack from it, keep your picnic cool. You can put wine in it. You can go caravanning. Just endless.
The possibilities are limitless.
Possibilities are endless.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the strapline is make your life a doddle, right? But I haven't exactly made my life a doddle. It's very, very hard work. When you run your own business, you need, 18 hours a day is really not uncommon. And then when you're juggling that with raising a young family, then that makes it doubly challenging. But so wonderful to be able to work on a project, see it through, and see the reaction of your end customer within months of coming up with the idea. It's the freedom that I have working for myself is that I can decide fully. I might decide, okay, I'm going to go and see my daughter's ballet performance at 10 o'clock, and then I might work at 2 o'clock in the morning. I have to work at different times in the day anyway, because we have manufacturers in China, we have people in the States that we speak to, they're all across different time zones. So it's great that you can just, have the freedom to manage that. I don't think it is necessarily a male-dominated industry in the mother and baby market.
Okay.
I think it's, I had worked in the male-dominated industry as an architect, and even then I think when people, it's all about relationship building. People trust you. They may give you a small thing to start off with first. It's the same with retailers. They sometimes make a small order to start off with. They're not sure. It's a new concept. The biggest challenges for me is not from being a female or a male. It's just the way, in this country, for example, the government provides really great incentives for innovation, new business. When you when you finish that process and then you take it to retail, a whole other level of bureaucracy sets in. So when you are a small business trying to get into a large retailer, PLC, the demands from those retailers are sometimes more than businesses like mine can make work. So what we've ended up doing, it's not that we haven't had the interest, we've had the interest, but we have not been able to sort of bridge the gaps of making it contractually feasible, is that we've ended up focusing more on the export market, because it's much easier for us to appoint distributors and sell worldwide. We're selling in 25 different countries now, so it's in most of them much easier than in the UK. So as I said, my daughter never really wanted to be spoon-fed, but we did a lot of market research. My colleague Alex Bollen was really instrumental in doing some very, very thorough research for us. And we conducted some focus groups, and a lot of the mums we showed it to said, okay, that's really great, but my daughter wants to be spoon-fed. So we set about designing a spoon. Now, the spoon attachment wasn't actually my idea. I think there were a couple of other sort of attachable spoons on the market. And what I essentially did was try to design out the flaws that I thought were present in the other spoons. When I originally showed the product, I launched it at a big mother and baby trade show in Germany called Kinderjugend in Cologne, and I launched them in 2015 based on a prototype. So this was the old packaging, and we had lots of retailers that came to see us, and we got some really, really constructive feedback. So we used these, and again, these were very well responded to, but still, people didn't understand what they were getting in the box. They thought that they were just getting the caps.
Not actually
Yeah, even though we'd said 10 times, it was. So a lot of people said, okay, we need some more visual.
Yeah, shows
So that's really how this developed, and the latest pack is with a picture of the product. And then on the back, as soon as you turn around, you see pictures of the various different applications. So the original one didn't have any
It
of
also
that.
shows that it's PVC free and...
Yeah, I mean, that's quite an important consideration for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right, so we just, in fact, because we're listening to our customers all the time, although it started as a mother and baby product, I would say about 40% of our customers now are men. And I don't like to say it, but I don't think that most of those men are using them for feeding their kids. And so that led us to sort of doing a bit more digging around, and we discovered that a lot of men buy them for travel, for putting in their toiletries or whatever, but also for camping and sports. And that's why we developed this flip-top pack set, which is it's a smaller nozzle. A smaller cap, so it doesn't take a lot of space in your hand luggage, and if you're in the shower, you can just flick it with one hand, and that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's what we've just launched. But we pride ourselves on our creativity. So.
Nadine's the creative person. You never know what's going to be coming next when you come through the door.
But really, we want to focus on products that are easy to use, are versatile, are environmentally friendly, and
fun.
It doesn't leak. Difficult to pop.